Hey guys, how's it going? This is Nomacid. I've got a short Scum video for you guys today going over the starter builds that I'd recommend for the early access. It is an early access game, so some of this is kind of subject to change, but I've got a good 20 hours in, and some of these builds seem to be working for me. So I figured I'd share them with you guys real quick, and let's get into them. Alright guys, here we are in the first build. It's going to be more of your runner slash explorer kind of build. The first thing to note is there are age modifiers. So as you get older, you will gain a little bit of strength to a certain age, and then you'll start to drop it off. Same thing with intelligence. You'll slowly gain it as you lose dexterity as you get older. You'll also gain conditioning as you get older. All of these builds will be based off of being age 20. By all means, change them the way you would like to, but the main things we're going to be looking here are our stats. So for this first build, we've got 3 strength, 4 constitution, 3 dex, and 4 intelligence. These are very important to hit these caps, and you'll see why on the next screen. You can really do whatever you want here with your head type and tattoos. We don't have a lot of options at the moment. Alright, so here we go on the next screen. This is the build I like to run here. Okay, for your strength skills, you can get rifles maxed out. Now what that'll do for you is you'll be able to run those missions and be able to be effective in the events that pop up. Anytime somebody does an event, you'll be able to pop that up. By all means, if you want to box, if you want to run melee weapons, or you want to run handguns, you can easily swap this out to whatever your playstyle is. I prefer rifles. That will help you control them a little bit better. Okay, your conditioning skill comes in. You got your 4 points there. I would max running to advanced and endurance to basic. It won't go all the way, but you can also flip-flop these, right? If you want more endurance and you just want to run a little bit slower or run a little bit less efficiently, that's the way you could do it as well. Both of those work perfectly fine. You could also just, middle ground both of them instead of maxing out either. Now with your int, you've got 4 int points. You've got a lot of options here. If you want to snipe, which at the moment you can do it. It's an okay thing to do, but I personally like to run a little bit of a balance here. Awareness will let you pick up targets faster. Camouflage will let you hide from them a little bit easier. And survival, obviously, that's going to help you with not getting sick, eating certain things you shouldn't be eating. That'll kind of help you survive those things, okay? And that's where our dex skills, all 3 points, will go into stealth. That'll allow you to get into bushes, do a little bushwookie and hide a little bit more. Those will help you out with that. So this is the build I like to run. This is the main build I do run, but I do have 2 other builds, and let's get into those as well. Alright guys, here we are on the second build. This is more of a brawler build, but if you notice, we still have the same amount of dex. There's a good reason for that. I'll show you on the next screen, but we're starting out with 5 strength, 4 constitution, 3 dex, and 2 intelligence. Alright, on this screen here, this is where it varies. Now if you want early game brawling capabilities, right, you want to have melee weapons either maxed on advanced or possibly just keep them at medium. Same thing with melee, keep those at medium. Now you have a choice here. You can either go rifles, put those all the way up, handguns, choose which one you think you want to use more, or maybe you don't want to use rifles as much. Early on, you're not going to find a lot of rifles. You've got a better chance with a handgun. You're going to find more ammo, things like that. Also, you don't always have to have a fist weapon at the start, so maybe you don't want your boxing, and maybe you're always just going to craft a melee weapon off the start. So this might be the build for you as well. You can go with more rifles or more handguns. That's totally up to you guys. Same thing with conditioning. We'll go those points. We'll have some extra for endurance. Now you can drop this down, lose that point, and put it into int if you want. That's totally up to you. But this is how I'm running it right here. All right. Once again, dex skill. We only have 1 at the moment. We don't have driving or throwing or any of that kind of stuff. So stealth. Boom. You utilize your points here, okay? Now you've got 4 points in int. It really depends on what you want to do. If you're a brawler, what I would do is put everything at basic, okay? And that'll utilize all of them but 1 point. You're not going to want to put sniping in because you're a brawler, right? I'd personally put it into camouflage. Now that's going to put you halfway there. You can level up those skills later. But this is the build I'll be using for brawling. Let's get into the last one. Alright guys, and for the final build, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but a lot of people like to run the Butterball build. So if you're going to run it, you might as well run it right. For strength, we're going to run 5. Constitution, we're going to run 2. Dex, we'll run 3. And int for 4. Now, this is same thing can change here. It's really what you prefer. If you want to have boxing a little higher, if you don't want to have boxing, and you want to run maybe some rifles for the events. But I would always say put melee or boxing in, depending on how you want to play. If you don't want to grab a weapon, go for boxing. There's a lot of melee weapons in the game at the moment, so maybe melee weapons is your better bet. You can also go handguns if you like the pistols. These effects don't help you as much as you would think they do. There needs to be maybe a little bit of scaling on them, but they do help you. Alright, now with conditioning, this is where it changes a little bit. I wouldn't go into running with a bigger guy, okay? You really don't want to go into that. You don't want to be moving real fast. Your guy heats up. He can get sick easily. He'll start throwing up. Things like that. So you kind of want to go for endurance. You're not a track star. This guy is not meant to be like exploring, right? This is the guy that you're going to go to town and brawl a bit with. He won't get as hungry, right? When he loses, when you use your calories, he'll use more of his fat reserve. It is in the game. That's the way the metabolism system works. So he will lose weight over time as well, okay? Same thing with the dex skill. You guys want to keep this up. There's no reason to not run stealth. It's the only one we have at the moment. They had throwing in for just a little bit on the first day of early access, but they took it out. All of this is coming later. So this build with the 3 decks, it should be on every build, okay? Same thing with int. It's really your play style, but on the bigger guys, they kind of like to run a middle ground. You don't want to be maxed out on anything specifically. Sniping in the game is a thing. If you want to snipe, I would use the first build and just bring that one all the way up and just take some camouflage or survival off. If you're going to really monitor your character, you don't need survival if you really, really want to manage them, because they don't have a lot of the illnesses and the sicknesses in the game at the moment. But I like to have it on there. It kind of helps you keep your energy up a little bit and keep your guy from catching things and illnesses when they do add them. Okay, now that's the final build, guys. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I know I'm not the best at YouTube, but I do have a Twitch. I'm pretty good at streaming, so the link will be below for that. We also have a Discord, and we are going to be running our own server. So if you guys would like to play with me, or if you guys just have some questions, just hit me up on the socials below, and we'll see you guys in there.